Ashanti region. Palm oil processors in Ankwani get modern processing facility. Hello, good evening. It's time for News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Yokopa Kutre and I am Micheline Taka. You welcome. 3 females have been burnt to death in their apartment in a fire outbreak which occurred at Santasi, a suburb of Kumasi. The bodies have been deposited at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital morgue. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service and the Ghana Police Service have initiated investigations into the cause of the incident.
This incident occurred in one of the chamber and hall apartments of a house behind the Santasi Post Office in Kumasi. The 3 occupants were 53-year-old Akosia Ejubi, a rice seller at the Santasi lorry station, her 18-year-old daughter Ama Lydia, who would have sat for her last paper in the ongoing Basic Education Certificate examination, and a house help named only as Ama, who all hail from Imprim near Asante Mampong. A next-door neighbor, Faustina Wieta, explained that she detected the fire in the night while cuddling her baby.
Marcos, like a few shit, like that, and I almost taken on me, and I almost saw now, or moved to more than or look at quiet tree, let them hide to me.
It took personnel of the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital Fire Station about an hour to completely put out the fire. The Ashanti Regional Fire Commander, ACFO Semako Fiajo, noted that all the 3 died in the fire because the room has no alternative exit for them to escape.
Palm oil processors in Ankwani in the Clapham North District of the Eastern Region now have a modern palm oil processing facility. The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Imsa Arthur, provided the machine.
Ankwani lies in the heart of the Ekwapim North District of the Eastern Region. Palm oil processing is a major occupation of the people of Ankwani. They use traditional methods of processing, but studies have shown that modern industrial processes produce much better quality palm oil than the artisanal method does. The wife of the Vice President provided the Ankwani Palm Oil Processors Association with a machine to ensure that they do the processing more efficiently and in an environmentally friendly way. The modern facility is also expected to make the business more profitable as it will help the processors to increase the scale of production. Funded by the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Misa Arthur, the oil processing machine was provided through the effort of the Kuntihima of Ekwapim traditional area, Nana Oye, the overseer of Grace Presby Church at Ekropon, Reverend Abua Ofei, and the Eastern Regional Minister, Madame Mavis Amafilipon. Nana Oye said she spearheaded the arrangement to help reduce the stress the women go through in processing palm oil the traditional way.
And one, what the one na mia titiru na yesa adwuma na mia ne ntumi anu ama wo maye eti wontumi nko school ne ade na saa ne men nyina wo ya e de oyare bebreye afese sei ni ama sakra eti woda so tena titidi ni ma ebe haw eti wode tu manimu no na eti se me hwe okwan bi a mefa so ya me de bebo awo.
The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Mr. Arthur, described the initiative as timely and forward-looking.
The abefo mfidie aba yede ye adwuma ema adwuma no ekoso yiye yemfa se kane no na adwuma wo ye no se bia wunya beye 3 gallons of oil se wo you see machine de ya ema wunya dodo osensa efe so etwa wo funa ne so esan se wo mra bebre se dia na mode mo na esisi abe no se no eno efri ho
She advised that other palm oil producing women in the area be allowed to use the machine at a fee while a portion of the proceeds is used to maintain it. Theodora Medeto, GBC24, Eastern Region.
The 2016 presidential candidate for the New Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, has begun a 5-day campaign tour of the Central Region. He encouraged the people to give the NPP a chance to turn the fortunes of the nations around.
The tour started from Aguna Kwenyako in the Aguna East District, the Central Region, then to Asafo and Aguna Sueju, and later to Gumwalume and Daruampon. Nana Addo and his entourage also paid courtesy calls on the chiefs of the communities visited before the campaign. At the Mandela Park at Aguna Soedru, Nana Addo encouraged the people to vote the party in the upcoming elections. He said the NPP is capable of changing the lives of Ghanaians for the better.
That's what we say. Ghana. And your Maya, guess it's said, oh, here, now, what's say, a jar to say a jar here. They never say, it's a fear but to a head. Yappa didn't yes, something.
Candidates in the just ended VEC examination at KJG in the Sene East District of the Bunohaf region have expressed worry over their performance in the ICT paper, which was written on Wednesday. Throughout their 3 years of junior secondary education, the pupils have never had access to computers or computer laboratories, and yet they were required to write the ICT exams. 416 candidates from the 12 junior high schools in the area were expected to write this year's VACE. 2 of the candidates are pregnant, 2 are lactating, 1 is dead, and the parent of 1 candidate could not afford travel expenses from the village to Kajiji for their child to take part in the exams. When GBC24 visited some of the centers after the ICT paper, the candidates complained they had never had any tuition in ICT, but wrote the ICT exams. The Sene East District Director of Ghana Education Service, Mr. Nenkab Jacob, said the candidates lack resources for the practical aspect of teaching ICT. He was, however, confident they would do their best. The District Chief Executive of Sene East, Mr. Francis Kofiba, appealed to the West African Examination Council WAEC to consider setting a different set of questions for the practical aspect of ICT for schools in rural areas that have very little resources to teach the subject.
When you come to Sene East, even in the district capital, those in the district capital, most of them have not even gotten access to computer. Some of them have not even seen pictures of computer before, but they are writing the exams. They should know how to set questions for them. And then if we want to embark on ICT, we should make sure that at least we have computers and other things for all the schools so that they can get access to it, and then we learn the ICT.
Stakeholders at a forum on sexual and gender-based violence have called for a sustainable policy and law on curbing sexual and gender-based violence in the country. The forum, which was organized by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection in partnership with DANIDA, was to wrap up a year's project carried out across the country on ending sexual and gender-based violence. The 2015 domestic violence report indicates that 27.7% of women in Ghana have been sexually assaulted in their lifetime. Also, 1 out of 3 women have been fondled or charged against their will due to the alarming statistics on sexual and gender-based violence in the country. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection have over the years collaborated with stakeholders to end the menace. In January 2015, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, with funding and support from DANIDA, rolled out a project to end sexual and gender-based violence in the country. The project manager, Petra de Graaf Johnson, said dialogues and trainings were held with judges, prosecutors, investigators and 200 media personnel. Debates were also organized with traditional leaders, while sensitization sessions were held in most parts of the country. After a year, stakeholders have met in Accra to discuss progress so far. A justice at the High Court, Justice Mrs. Georgina Mensah Dacha, and the Adontehene of Jukwa Krobo, Nana Ahin, shared the success stories of the project. The first secretary, gender focal point at DANIDA, Lina Hothers, said Denmark will continue to support Ghana to fight against domestic violence.
We had hoped that it would end gender-based violence by the end of the project, but there's still cases left. But I think actually it was a good step in breaking the taboo about these issues and also making more people aware about to break the silence on these issues.
The director of the Gender Ministry, Mr. Mauto Ablo, was grateful to DANIDA for helping the ministry to establish gender-based response centers.
I'm very optimistic that together we can forge and create a violence-free society where everyone, regardless of their gender, can live freely and can contribute to the greater development of our beloved country.
An international gender consultant, Ms. Jane Kwau, said the statistics on sexual and gender-based violence requires the support of all in the fight against the menace.
We'll be back with the business news. Please don't go away.
You are still watching News Hour. Let's talk business. My name is Esther Edu Omo. The Bank of Ghana can now monitor the country's export proceeds and remittances effectively. This is because the bank has, in collaboration with the Ghana Community Network, GCNet, developed a monitoring software for the purpose. The new software replaces a manual system which made tracking of export proceeds almost impossible.
The Bank of Ghana Act 612 requires the central bank to supervise especially the country's export trade. This is to ensure that export proceeds are repatriated into the country within a specified period stipulated by the law. However, the Bank of Ghana was not able to effectively discharge this duty due to the absence of appropriate technology. But now the bank has, in collaboration with GCNet, designed a software that will help monitor export procedure and proceeds in the country. At a stakeholders forum on the new monitoring software, the first Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Milson Na, said the new measure will mobilize forex reserves for commercial banks.
The time has come for all stakeholders in the export sector to ensure that every export commodity that leaves the shores of this country are accounted for in the balance of payment account. This is the only way we can curb the perennial shortage of foreign exchange with this attendant depreciation of the Ghana cedi. We made adequate reserve to support the socio-economic transformation of this economy.
The product development manager of GCNet, Mr. Kawasaki, said the new software will drastically reduce the workload associated with the old system.
Basically to replace the manual way of doing exports and remittances.
The software operated by GCNet will start operation on the 1st of July 2016.
Manufacturers and businesses must comply with food safety and traceability standards through the use of barcodes and proper labeling to enable them to compete effectively on the international market. Barcodes are complementary to the existing labeling laws in the country. The Director of Industrial Development at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Ben Hay, gave the reminder during the launch of GS1 standards in Accra.
Barcode is an optical machine-readable representation of information about a product, usually attached to one side of the product. In the past, barcodes represented data in this form. Later, they evolved into rectangles, dots, hexagons, and other geometric patterns. Barcodes provide product information that can be read with the aid of an electronic scanner in order to reveal the product's characteristics, such as the country of origin, the name and address of the manufacturer, the nature of the product, batch number, and shipping location. Barcodes help buyers and consumers to have confidence in the ability to identify and trace the origin of the product. It also helps in tracing lost, stolen, and counterfeit items. Although barcodes were introduced in Ghana many years ago, many consumers in the country have little knowledge of it, while some companies are not using it. It is for this reason that the forum was organized to educate manufacturers and businesses on the need to conform to global standards.
Producing a good product is no longer enough to keep a company competitive in today's global marketplace. The service associated with the product must be well managed, and products must be consistent in quality.
The chairman of GS1 Ghana, Mr. Kofi Suman, said barcodes are not only used on products.
The healthcare standard system developed by GS1, we will now be able to trace not only drugs, but we will be able to match the right drug to the patient. We will be able to track the kind of drugs which are coming into the country. We will be able to use this technology to find out which of these drugs are fake and which of them are the right one.
The chief executive of GS1 Ghana, Mr. Johnson Opoku-Boateng, said to ensure safe, accurate, and timely delivery of goods, companies along the supply chain must take advantage of the power of information.
If you don't have a barcode, you cannot go and sell in modern trade. With this education, I believe that a lot of companies and small-scale startups are coming to us to acquire barcodes.
To limit the process of shoplifting, price swapping of products, and customers being cheated during buying and selling, experts say there is the need for manufacturers and shop owners to have barcodes on their products. Beatrice Sanaju, GBC24, Accra.
The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Pavlin Tendai Musaka, has blamed the poor development of the private sector in Africa on the global economic downturn. He says the best way to reverse the situation is to develop a vibrant private sector through the increased public-private partnerships in countries like Ghana.
Diplomatic Fair, which was launched in Ghana in 2012, is aimed at bridging the gap between the private sector and the diplomatic communities in Africa in the area of trade. The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps in Ghana, Ambassador Pavlin Tendai Musaka, highlighted the need to develop a win-win situation for public-private partnerships.
The promotion of tourism, trade and investment can no longer be driven by governments alone, but in collaboration with the key stakeholders in the private sector. It is such events as the Diplomatic Fair that help orchestrate partnership opportunities for business and government, and in turn stimulate long-term economic growth.
The Director of Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation Bureau at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Mr. Edwin Ejay, said this year's fair is driven by innovative trading technologies that will further strengthen trade ties between Ghana and other African countries.
It is commendable that they are endeavoring through this forum to complement the efforts of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration in forging closer ties of friendship and cooperation between the people of Ghana and those of other friendly countries, and building bridges of understanding to enhance world peace as well as trade.
The Chief Executive of Precise Communications, organizers of the Diplomatic Fair, Mr. Stephen Jesse Kwao encouraged the youth to venture into entrepreneurship.
All of the youth are stranded because of their lack of information. There's a lot happening in the country that they don't know. So this is the platform that we're giving them. They should come here, explore, who want to have international education opportunity, come here, who want to find about cultures of different countries, come here and find out all those things.
The diplomatic fair attracted exhibitors from Angola, Ghana, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Niger, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Zambia and DR Congo.
Cedi gained 5 pesos against the pound sterling and 4 pesos to the euro. The local currency, on the other hand, maintained its value against the dollar. And on the international commodity markets, light crude and cocoa appreciated by 63 cents and $66 respectively. In insurance today, insurance experts have recommended bank assurance as the best way of saving towards a child's future. They have therefore encouraged parents to access insurance packages that come with child savings accounts.
A different savings product, but few come with insurance policies. Parents who sign on to savings accounts with insurance policies make it possible for their wards to inherit the policy when they attain age 18. The Senior Vice President for Banking Operations at the Royal Bank, Mr. Emmanuel McRandolph, explained the need for parents to save towards their children's future.
When parents children don't get to go to school, now the insurance aspect of this particular product takes care of the child's education. It also takes care of the child's future up to the age of 18. Thing that you want to ensure about your child is that their education is not cut off. You also want to ensure that you invest for your child.
Partnering with Star Life Assurance and Old Mutual, other insurance policies like Royal Current Plus and Royal SME will be introduced onto the market. The new products will have hybrid accounts and will not attract bank charges. These are geared towards creeping up interest in signing onto insurance policies for the future.
What we're introducing to you now is another mode of financial management. We look at the investment aspect of your funds. We also look at securing your life. Hence, we're introducing these bank assurance products. Bank assurance is the thing to do now, apart from having your regular current account or savings account.
Savings accounts with life insurance packages provide yearly or monthly premium payment and a cash bonus after 5 years if no claim is made. With the current insurance penetration of a little above 1%, insurance experts are optimistic that bank assurance will continue to gain ground in terms of financial management, security and investments.
And that was some business for you. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back. This is the health segment. It's proudly sponsored by FPAC. FPAC blows your pain away. Instead of engaging them in trading activities, children should rather be enrolled in school. This was an advice given to market women at Ebublushi when International Needs Ghana, in collaboration with the Women and Children's Subcommittee of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, educated the traders on what actions take when they and their girl children suffer abuses from their spouses or other people. A report by Sarah Foley.
Animated 1.9 million children across the country are victims of child labor, while 1.2 million others are engaged in hazardous labor. These children are denied their dignity and the chance to develop their God-given potential. Some are forced by circumstances to drop out of school as they are made to combine school and work. Some parents, especially market women, are so preoccupied with their search for money that they fail to provide the children with the needed care. Adequately protecting women and children from sexual and physical abuses, maintaining proper hygiene and sanitation at the markets were among the issues discussed with the market women.
Walking home, Emma Quadano, Omunya baby, Umbetna. Mamino, Chanwa, no abra, na fedio titia Quadano. Mamino bebre, a crab and omotimi young com, a sham Quadano. Na so konyimu so empamino, for chrono, nanimo moncomo, na owuya gia Quadano, na ontimin tuano school. Those bear Musas and Jebebo be a fee. Yemba harasemo. Yem pese bonena nkase besi in the first place. Ye pese esi anon kwan because emu wo ha. Yentimi change ni esi no. Ebeye den. Eni paso nkwan ye nton o shop bia mu.
The sensitization of the market women on child protection being spearheaded by International Needs Ghana is part of a 4-year project funded by the Foreign Affairs Department of Australia.
The project is about the way we will help prevent children from the exploitation, sexual exploitation of children. And there are many activities that we do, going to the schools, working with clubs in the schools, and sensitizing, educating parents how they will help to keep the children in school.
The women were grateful for the education.
All that we are telling our members, they should try to maintain peace. Because if there is war, it is the women that suffers. We have to carry our children at their back, carry our things on our head. So we are pleading with them to let peace prevail. Election is not a matter of fighting.
Titi yaya ware for na yeye Mr. and Mrs. no. Edin na affairs ye kunu no modi yama ye no. Aya yenya de nka ho. Yeye enim se. Ba ye de ka ho yeye yie. Nti aba ya ni mabenya adwen bi se efi na akwa me bakura ware a. Se me ma ne din eka ho.
Markets and market women play essential roles in the food supply chain. For GBC24, Agbogboshi.
Medical experts have raised alert over the increasing cases of lupus in the country. Lupus is an autoimmune disease without a known cause and cure, but is said to have struck women 3 times more than men.
An autoimmune disease generally affects the body's immune system that is supposed to fight against diseases. Lupus is one of the deadliest autoimmune diseases and, according to experts, kills at least 48% of affected persons. Symptoms vary widely, notably from one illness to another. Most cases were initially investigated or treated as tuberculosis or HIV. According to a survey conducted by the Autoimmune Disease Association, it takes most autoimmune patients up to 4 to 6 years and nearly 5 doctors before being properly diagnosed. A rheumatologist at the Kolebu Rheumatology Unit, Dr. Jifade, explains how the disease is managed.
We do not say there's a cure. We can manage it like any chronic condition like diabetes. Take you into a stage that we call remission, where your immune system is very calm and not causing the damage that it can. And that's we usually do with drugs called immunosuppressants. And these drugs can be very expensive, depending on how severe the condition is, and needs regular follow-up and monitoring And our labs too also have to be sent out of the country to South Africa, which makes the cost for patients quite high.
The Rheumatology Initiative, TRI, that has provided constant financial support for the treatment of the disease, donated a wheelchair, a 32-inch plasma television, and a decoder to the Kolebu Rheumatology Unit. This is mainly to entertain patients and boost their recovery. The group leader for the Ghana Lupus Outstanding Warriors GLOW, Madame Angela Beko, said there's the need for more awareness creation.
People just look at it as a spiritual disease, that you have to tackle it from the spiritual perspective. So then the understanding is still not there. That is why we are raising awareness to try and get people to understand.
Autoimmune diseases rank among the top 10 leading causes of death among women aged 65 years and younger. Christopher Che Mensah lost his wife to lupus disease in March this year after she was diagnosed 5 years ago.
When it comes to issues of health, I think my first point of call is the hospital before any spiritual intervention. So to me, I brought her straight to the hospital. The very first time I saw it, I brought her to the hospital. I did not actually seek any spiritual intervention or the help of any pastor or whatever. I just brought her to the hospital.
The Kolebu Rheumatology Unit that was established 5 years currently treats over 700 patients with only 2 specialists in the country.
We go for a quick break. We'll be back with the business and international news.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The second edition of the school's baton relay race has been set for Ghana's Republic Day, July 1. The competition is set to encourage athletes in the senior high school level to participate in long distance running. On the 1st of July this year, Accra will come alive when the long distance runners from all senior high schools dotted around the country converge for the second edition of the National Road Baton Relay. 30-kilometer relay event initiated by Dreamland Sports Plus is aimed at contributing to Ghana's effort at identifying talent in long-distance running and grooming them for national use. With 14 days more to go, organizers say they are ready.
We have about 100 schools registering to participate throughout the 10 regions in the country. A total number of about 800 students with 200 teachers accompanying them. Everything, I mean, with ambulances, buses to convey them, all logistics have been put in place as we speak today.
We are starting this year's program at Bachunatota. Last year it was a Spinters Coca-Cola runabout. But this time we want them to have a straight route, unlike last year whereby they have to pass through a lot of winding areas and all this. Yeah. But this one is a straight route. Starting from Bachunatota, then the next baton change will be at the Dunga barrier, then to the Laskala station, then Labadi Beach. Also, they will terminate at Accra Sports Stadium. Last year it was at Azuma Nursing, but this year we want to do it at Accra Sports Stadium. Now that it has getting the national face, we want to have everything at the national sport.
We thought that this is associated with energy. Stamina gives you endurance. So if there's a sports activity that's trying to promote the youth to run, I thought it's quite ideal for Visa Top Chocolate to be part of it, which can provide them with the energy they need to go through this race and win. So for us, we believe also that it's not just about profit making. Sometimes taking a step to take into account the interest of the community you serve is also very paramount. So we thought, let's partner with them. Let's try and motivate the kids to go and run. We do whatever we need to do to support them. And I'm sure after the race, whatever energy they have lost, a glass of Vita Top Chocolate can help them boost back their energy.
The CEO of Dreamland Sports Plus, Mr. Emmanuel Ola Williams, touched on the ultimate prize at stake.
We have a scholarship from Bucharest University. As usual, last year they gave degree to the boys, that's BBA, that's Bachelor of Business Administration. The girls were they had a chance of getting scholarship on fashion design, that's higher diploma. This year, they are doing 2 times what they did last year. And that not alone, they are giving all participants, all athletes, about 20% discount. It means when you run, you have a discount of 20% to go to their school. That is, if you want to go to their school. If you have that participating certificate, you can go to their school at any time, then you have a discount.
Okay.
So then we have the medals, we have trophies at stake, then we have a lot of products.
The Road Baton Relay is a collaboration between the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the National Sports Authority, the Ghana Athletics Association, and the Ghana Education Service. Second round of the National Women's Football League will start this weekend at various league centers. Here are the fixtures. At the Southern Zone, Police Ladies will lock horns with Hazakes Ladies. Bafana Ladies then tackles Halifax Ladies. Lady Strikers will welcome Samira Ladies with Immigration, sitting home and playing Soccer Intellectuals. In the Northern Zone, Subaya Golden Ladies will play Fabulous Ladies. Ampim Dakwan will battle Prisons Ladies. Ashtown settles matters with Lepo Ladies, with Norton Ladies facing Real Upper Ladies. The MTNFA Cup quarter-final matches has been set for this weekend. Here are the fixtures. At the Dansoman Corridor Park, Liberty Professionals will take on Elmina Sharks. At Wawa All-Stars Battles, Wa Rockets. Kumasi Babara Sports Stadium, Asante Kotoko will be playing Bechem United. At Nkoko, Go United then faces Wafa. In the USA NBA, Cleveland beat the Warriors by 115 to 101 to even the finals at 3-3. This has forced a Game 7 on Sunday night at the Oracle Arena. That's all for sports. Entertainment is next.
Welcome to this segment. Abiam Akuma Danso is a businessman who has added gospel music to his career. In an interaction with him on our showbiz segment, Abiam encouraged the youth to break barriers and explore their talents.
I've been a musician for quite a long time. Somebody asked me, I said, since I was born, you know, and why I became a musician was because of life I went through. When I was 3 years, I had a problem with a bone that was choked in my neck.
A bone?
Yes. So because of that, it made me not to be able to talk. And they were calling me water sun, like in soba. Oh. And I was always foaming. And, you know, I would have a convulsion every time I cried. During that process of time, one thing that was keeping me was music. You know, when at that young, although I couldn't sing, but I could hear songs. I've been going through all this process of time.
You say it's by grace.
It's the grace of God, you know, and somebody that was rejected by the, you know, society, family. Now, if you go to Kumawu, they have Abiam fan club. See, one thing I always like to tell the youth that see everything as an opportunity. And most of the times, situations shows up, and then you are fixed in a particular place, and you see it as a prison, whereby it doesn't allow you to look at the other side. You know, when I look at people begging for money, and you can see this man is strong, there's only one leg that is cut off, and then the person think that he has a deficiency, so therefore all he can do is to beg for arm, whereby there's somebody who is blind but actually farming. You understand? The point is, I don't blame them, because that person actually lack knowledge. You know, the only thing that I do is to, if I get such a person, I will actually impart knowledge into the person's life, because I have been there before.
The Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofuswajari, has advised players in the creative arts industry to take advantage of the 2 million Ghana cedis fund established by the ministry to develop their vocations to create jobs for themselves and the nation. She was speaking at a workshop on the Creative Arts Industry Bill.
Ghana is in the process of developing a law to regulate the creative arts industry. As part of the process, the ministry is collating the views of various stakeholders. In attendance were industry players, carvers, filmmakers, painters and artists, dressmakers and students. Opening the workshop, the Minister for Tourism and Creative Arts, Mrs. Elizabeth Ofuswe-Jari, said the creative arts industry was once without a ministry to oversee its development.
When His Excellency became president, he realized that the creative art is so important to leave it the way it was. So he created a Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. But the creative arts needs a law in the same way that tourism and culture has one.
She urged the participants to take advantage of the workshop to make an input into the draft Creative Arts Bill put together by the Attorney General's Department. She urged the participants to take advantage of the workshop to make an input into the draft Creative Arts Bill put together by the Attorney General's Department and experienced creative industry practitioners, among others. The workshop also doubled as a means to equip the participants with small business development skills.
That's it for Showbiz.
That's all in this package. Thanks for your company.
Before we go, look once again at the headlines.